Kevin Hart might be known for being one of the world's tallest comedians, but did you know he commands a staggering 7 to 8 figures per movie role? With over 50 films under his belt, he raked in more than $87 million during his peak years. But which movies are driving these insane paychecks? And how much is he really taking home from each project? Let's dive into the top 7, starting with the most important movie in Kevin Hart's career. Kevin Hart, being one of the funniest actors of all time, has earned millions through movies. However, his most impactful performance has to be in the movie he starred in with Steve Harvey. Even though Kevin Hart had already been successful in stand-up comedy, he still needed the movie Think Like a Man to solidify his presence in romantic comedy. The best part is that Kevin Hart didn't just simply stick to the script. Instead, he added his unique style into his acting. It wasn't just about showing what he could do. Kevin used the character to encourage people dealing with a divorce to keep their heads up and find some positivity. So not only did Kevin Hart make it a mission to solidify himself in romantic comedies, but he also went to extreme lengths to inspire the divorced to maintain a sense of positivity. That being said, Kevin earned $5 million for his work, which would be shocking for me, but after you see the last paycheck, this will seem like pocket change. While most of us would turn to someone with real prison experience if we had 30 days to prepare for imprisonment, the movie Get Hard flips the script with Kevin Hart's character Darnell, who has never even seen the inside of a jail, hilariously being thrown into the role of preparing Will Ferrell's character James King for his approaching incarceration. However, did you know that Kevin Hart was almost not selected for the role? Before Hart landed the part, there were discussions about casting Chris Rock and Ice Cube, both of whom could have added a different dynamic to the movie. What's surprising is that they were overlooked for a reason you might not expect, as Kevin Hart's chemistry with Ferrell made it clear he was the perfect fit. Even more impressive is that the filmmakers were so blown away by his performance that they couldn't envision anyone else in the role. Just like how you're about to be blown away by this check Kevin got, as it is a staggering $7.5 million. Stay with me because surprisingly, the next movie on the list took a whole decade to produce. Back in 2013, Kevin Hart landed a role in Ride Along alongside Ice Cube. What's shocking about this movie is that not only did this movie have a shocking number of script rewrites, but the number of days it took to produce was also not normal, as it took 3,604 entire days to release. The concept for Ride Along had been in development since around 2004. Yep, almost 20 years ago. And even though Kevin Hart and Ice Cube landed a role in 2013, you'll be shocked to find out that numerous duos like Will Smith and The Rock were considered for the role. However, even though the filmmakers were super dedicated to getting the right mix of comedy and action, when they found Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, they couldn't resist attempting to recruit them as they had the perfect mix of comedy and seriousness that the filmmakers were looking for. Not only did the filmmakers love Kevin, but they loved him so much that he also walked away with a big paycheck of $8.3 million. But in the next movie, Kevin Hart almost missed out on an even bigger paycheck. Despite the fact that most people would jump on the chance to make $1 million, Kevin Hart almost lost multiple millions because he liked his cozy routine too much. Typically, Kevin Hart is used to playing more comedic roles. However, in the movie The Upside, he was asked to do something a little different. Despite what Kevin is used to, the filmmakers wanted Kevin to act more dramatically, to which he was hesitant because he didn't think that fans would be able to see him in that kind of light. In this role, Kevin Hart was asked to play the character Dell, a recently paroled convict who becomes the caregiver for a wealthy quadriplegic man named Philip. So you can see how the role required Hart to depart from his usual comedic persona and delve into a more dramatic character. But let's be honest, if they offered me what he got paid for this movie, I'm taking that money no matter what. However, even though all of Kevin Hart's previous checks have been in the 7-figure range, his next paycheck was a surprising leap that earned him a staggering $10 million. But this wasn't the only challenging role for Kevin Hart, as the next movie on the list pushed him to his limits. In late 2014, Kevin Hart got on board for Central Intelligence, and it turned out to be his toughest role ever. Kevin Hart is widely recognized for his comedic talent. As you know, in The Upside, he embraced a dramatic role. However, shockingly, in Central Intelligence, he stepped even further out of his comfort zone, taking on a character that was not just serious, but also grounded on logic. This role was a real challenge for him, and honestly, even he had his doubts about whether he could pull it off. Even though this movie was a comedy, Hart had to find a balance between comedy and drama in his performance. Despite the fact that the film had a comedic tone,
I got a plan. Might get us both killed, but if it works, it'll be a totally boss story. Cool?
No,
No, it's not cool. Cool. No, I said it's not cool.
There were also moments of serious tension and emotional depth. In the movie, Kevin Hart played the role of CJ Jones. CJ is portrayed as a typical everyday guy, which, as you know, is unusual for Kevin, as he is used to more spontaneous characters. In the end, Kevin Hart took home $10.2 million after this movie. But that paycheck was just the beginning, as the next movie brought in 10 times that amount. When you think about the best sequels out there, The Godfather Part 2 and The Lord of the Rings probably pop into your head, right? But those movies have nothing on Ride Along 2. This movie really brings it all. It's got everything you want. Hilarious jokes, a fun storyline, and just pure entertainment. But the real gem, Kevin Hart at his absolute funniest. Sure, he can nail serious roles, but when he's in full comedy mode, there's hardly anyone who can keep up with his energy. Ride Along 2 lets him run wild, and that's why people loved it so much. With a performance like that, it's no wonder the movie pulled in a whopping $150 million. And of course, that kind of box office success meant Kevin Hart took home a sweet $12.5 million paycheck. But just wait, what's coming next is even crazier. A film that made $1 billion. Kevin Hart has been in over 50 films, but his biggest payday came from the one he was in alongside The Rock in 2017. Usually he rakes in between $5 to $9 million per movie, but he made more than double that in Jumanji. What's wild isn't just how much he earned, it's that he almost walked away with less than usual by taking a smaller upfront salary. Basically, that means that if the movie bombed, he'd get a much smaller paycheck, but if it did well, he'd cash in big. Kevin Hart had so much faith in Jumanji that he decided to do this by taking a smaller upfront salary. It was a bold gamble, but in the end, his risk paid off big time when the film grossed over $1 billion, leaving him with a staggering $30 million check. By the way, I'll be looking through the comments for tips and video recommendations, so make sure to comment your thoughts.